Hey, what's up everybody? And today I'm going to do a totally amateur review of the Soundcraft Notepad 12FX. What a mouthful. Give me a second here. I'm going to turn the camera around and give you an overview of the top of the device. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what I like and dislike. So this here is the Notepad 12FX, and it's important for you to know why I bought this one instead of buying another brand or whatever, or another model. I bought this one because I was looking for a small mixer, something that I could fit on my table here or fit easily with my goods, as well as something I could put into my backpack with like the OP1 or the MPC Live. And there are some things about it that I wish I had known before I bought it, otherwise I wouldn't have bought this one, because there are some funny things about the layout on here. And I'm going to plug into the Zoom H6 recorder to get some better audio while I'm doing this. Okay, so give me a minute and I'll hook up the audio so that you guys can hear me a little bit more clearly. Okay, welcome back. Here we go with an overview of the top of this device and the inputs and outputs. So at the top here, you've got 4 XLR or TRS fat stereo jacks on the top here, which you can see one I'm using from a microphone and 2 I'm using for one input, left and right stereo input for the OP1. On there you've got the high Z. You've got actually high Z on 2 channels here, so that's for like basses or guitars and whatnot. Then you've got a 100 hertz button. I don't know. I think it's to like reduce sound. I don't know what it's for. I'm an amateur. I'm totally amateur. Beside that, you've got 2 sets of TRS or like fat stereo jacks, 1/4 stereo jacks here. Then beside that, you've got a mono left and right, and you've got a USB all on the same line. Then over here, you've got 2 more stereo jacks, and this is for an external effects feedback. Over here, you've got a mono auxiliary jack, and you've got a headphone jack, and you've got the XLR out. Below that, you've got 2 buttons to determine where the sound is coming from. I don't know, one's for headphones and one's for mono. And then this one here is, what is that, master and USB, so maybe like interface mode. And this thing can be used as an interface if you want to. It does have a USB port right there. There is nothing on the back of the device, just so you know. There's no ports or anything like that. So what you see on the front is what you get. That's it. There's nothing on the sides, nothing on the bottom, nothing on the front, nothing. Just the front, or just the top. So anyway, going back in here, here's your headphone volume right here. And then you've got your monitor right here for the general sound, for overall your master sound. And you've got a knob right here, which will adjust your master output. Here you've got your effects. You've got your master effects, so you can turn your effects up and down. I keep shaking the camera. I apologize for that. Up here you've got 3 effects. You've got a delay, a chorus, and a reverb. And you can turn more than one of these on at the same time. Now, like for example, if you use the delay and the reverb, it'll go to your tap time, which is right here. But if you turn on chorus as well, it'll turn it into KTV mode, and then you have much less control over when the delay is happening. It just basically, it's meant to try to just sound good as a KTV mixer immediately without any settings and whatnot. But if you don't turn all 3 of them on, okay, there's all 3. It sets its own time. If you don't turn all 3 of them on time, you have at the same time, you have control over the kind of effect, or like basically the size of the room and reverb, or how long your delay is, or like what kind of delay is. You can adjust the kind of effects with this little knob right here. It's pretty cool. The effects are neat, are decent. It says Lexicon Effects, and my professional music buddies tell me it's kind of like more of a brand than an actual Lexicon thing, because there's no actual hardware in there. It's just emulating the Lexicon effects in the digital processor for the Soundcraft mixer. Moving over here, you've got gains on the top of all of these channels right here, so you can turn the gain up if you find something's coming in low. On these 4 here, you've got adjustments for highs, mids, and lows, so you can adjust your voice and whatnot until you are getting the kind of sound that you want out of it. Or any instrument or any device, you can adjust it through these 3 settings, high, mid, and low right here. So it's kind of convenient, although you only have it on 4 channels. Down here, you've got your FX send amount, so you can turn on effects and turn off effects accordingly for each of these 7 channels. Below that, you've got your balance for left and right, whether it's coming in on the left or the right. And then you've got your overall level or sound level on the bottom here. There are no mute buttons or anything for each channel like you might see on some other mixers. For the price, this is about $200 American, or 220 or 230 bucks American. For the price, it's, I don't know, I guess it's all right. Apparently the Soundcraft brand is a really good brand, but I mean, I have my own reservations about this mixer. I bought this at Long & McQuaid in Canada when I was there visiting from China, and that means all of my devices, my MC808 and my core, all that stuff was still in China, and so I didn't really have a good mental visualization of what inputs and outputs I needed on this thing, mostly specifically inputs. I didn't have a good idea of that when I bought it. So I actually have ended up having to do a lot of magic of plugging multiple devices into each other in order to get them to go into this board, because there's not enough inputs that I need. For example, I've got my microphone coming in right here, which means that I no longer have like 2 inputs for a stereo device. I only have 1 left, and I don't have many, like I have nothing in the way of mono. So that means basically 1 set is taken up. And then I've got another set right here, another set right here, another set right here. That's basically like 1, 2, 3, 4 inputs. This thing's, it's called a 12FX because it's supposed to have like 12 inputs or whatever, but it doesn't work out like that at all. One of the other things that really pisses me off about this input-wise is that these 2 jacks right, the phonos, they're useless to me. I don't have anything that goes in through phono. I don't know. I wish I had thought more about what I had needed before I bought this mixer. The guy at the store was just trying to help me out, but he, I guess, didn't really have a good idea of what I would need either, because he recommended this one, and I mean, the effects are really nice, and I will show you those in a second. The effects sound great, if a little bit limited, and that's okay. But the inputs are very constricting. They're very constricting. I feel like I wish this thing didn't have the mono USB line right here. I just wish it was just extra stereo jacks. And then this right here, I can't actually plug anything into it because it's an FX return channel. So if I plug another external device, I don't mean FX device, I mean like my synthesizer or like that. If I plug that into here, then I adjust the volume of that channel. It's also adjusting the volume of the effects, like for every other channel. So I can't make any adjustments to this without also screwing with the effects for all the other channels, and that is much less than desirable when I'm using that as a dedicated input on here. And that's not where my problems with the device end. You'll find that in this price range, when you're looking at like a Yamaha or something, pretty much every other brand, if you look underneath the XLR outputs, there's also TRS, or the quarter-inch stereo jack outputs just below them. Might call them monitor or whatever. Those are really handy. In fact, I've been trying to make this thing go into my Akai MPC Live, but the Akai MPC Live has no XLR inputs. It only has TRS, stereo quarter-inch inputs. So that means that I need to get converter cables to go from the XLR into the stereo jacks and then plug it into the Akai MPC Live. And I didn't know this when I bought it. It didn't even occur to me because I had never used a mixer before. So this is really frustrating. It's also one of those things that if you look at any of these mixers of this style or this size or like this compact nature, all of them have those TRS quarter-inch outputs. I have no flippin' idea why Soundcraft wouldn't include that on this mixer. It makes no sense to me. And then you've got just such, I don't know, constricting use of additional inputs through useless. In my use scenario, it's useless. I feel like the amount of modern day usable inputs on this device is just extremely limited, and it bothers me, and I feel like I wasted my money and I had to buy a new mixer. And yeah, I'm a little bit, what is the word? Salty? But anyway, that's enough about my gripes with the thing. How about I give you a little display of the sound of it? I'll play some synth and some stuff like that. You've heard it in my other videos or my last video, but I'll focus more on adjusting levels and things like that, and you guys can hear it in action. Sound-wise, it does sound really good. Just input and output wise, it's constricting, and there are some odd design decisions by Soundcraft. If you ask my personal opinion, I find them quite odd. But that being said, let's move on to the part where we hear what it sounds like in action. So I'll see you in, well, a few seconds. Okay, I'm back here. This is my second time trying to film this part, because the first time, for whatever reason, the audio cut out. Okay, I'm just going to give you a basic little play of a few devices. I'm not going to spend too much time on this part because last time, I don't know, like 20 minutes and it all went to waste. So let's hope this time it works out. First up, let's hear the Moog. Okay, so that's just the straight raw sound, and let's try turning on some effects here. Let's first try, actually that has a chorus on it. Let's try the delay. It's not working. There we go, there we go. Now you're hearing the delay effect working. Sounds pretty haunting. Very cool. And then we can turn on the reverb effect. Hold on a second here. Pretty cool. So that's there on that, and let's try the Korg MX. You can hear that reverb on there. Let's turn the reverb off. So these lexicon effects that are, you know, lexicon effects are pretty decent for being emulations. They're like, let's one more time hear the difference. And how about the MC808? I'm just turning on the reverb and off the reverb so you can get a sense for it. Not very well mixed there, like in the sense that I'm not playing the right timing, but not that the mixer itself isn't doing its own best job that it can do. So pretty decent. All the sounds play pretty well together, and that gives you a good example of what the mixer sounds like together. So in my next part of the video, I will give you a summary of my thoughts and overall feelings about the device, and then I'll finish it off. So see you guys in a minute. Hi there. Okay, so here I am. I'm back here and try to get my voice into the microphone. So my final thoughts on the device are on the Soundcraft Notepad 12FX are it's a pretty decent sounding mixer, and it does what it does well enough. For the size and the price, I would say it's a decent little thing, but it's also frustratingly limited because of the reasons I mentioned. The outputs being only XLR and not stereo jacks, like coherent stereo jacks, that's annoying. The fact that 3 of the channels, and I mean 3 stereo channels or 2 stereo channels, are devoted to inputs that I just don't use in my modern setup. That's also frustrating. So I have to do a lot of workarounds in order to get the cables connected properly. In order to get my devices going into it, I have to daisy chain too many devices into each other. And I kind of felt like the name 12FX would be like, well, hey, 12 channels, that should make it easy for me to plug my stuff in. But it's not, because it's more like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's double those up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's more like 4 inputs, 4 useful inputs, and one of those is going to go to the microphone. So it's more like 3 useful inputs for stereo devices, and that's not really useful, is it? So my thoughts are, for the price, you could go for a Yamaha MG12, 12X or whatever it's called, or UX. I don't know what it's called, but anyway. It seems like a better option in my books because they waste less inputs on like strange cables, phono cables and stuff, and they put more of it dedicated to being able to plug in more of your modern day stereo jack using XLR using devices, and less of it focused towards stuff that you're probably not going to end up using if you're doing a setup like mine. Maybe the Soundcraft Notepad FX would be a great solution for other people, not me people, but other people. But it's not a very good solution for me. And those downfalls in my book make it a less perfect solution than I would be hoping for the size and the price, and especially compared to the competition. If the competition wasn't doing, or like making it more of a convenient layout, then I'd be like, okay, cool, this is just the way it is. But because the competition is already making similarly sized and priced devices, and their inputs and outputs aren't so frustratingly laid out, I would say that, like, I don't know what Soundcraft is thinking with this device. I'm not quite sure what they're thinking with it. I don't know. I mean, it's small and portable, and maybe that's what they were thinking, but it's also really, because of the competition, it's not a good buy compared to, for example, a Yamaha. So that's just my personal opinion. If you disagree with me, go ahead and leave some comments in the comment section down below. And if you liked my interview, or my review, if you liked my review, leave a like down below. And if you didn't like it, dislike it. And subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And I will continue to try to make more videos like this, of reviews of things that I hardly even know how to use and have no professional experience with whatsoever. And that's it for me. I thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. This is Katigas, out.